Hello students, greetings of the day. St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous Vishakhapatnam welcomes to St. Joseph's open web-based learning platform. So e-learn for a soulful and enriching e-learning experience. Department of Commerce and Management of St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous presents MOOC, St. Joseph's massive open online course. I am R. Pavani, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management of St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous Vishakhapatnam. Would like to teach you Module 3 ERP Implementation in ERP. The next submodule is Evaluation Process in ERP Implementation. The outcomes of this chapter are: explain the need of evaluation process, identify the factors contributing in evaluation process, explain the evaluation process in ERP systems, describe the selection of ERP system for the organization. The contents are: need of evaluation process, factors contributing in evaluation process of ERP systems, evaluation process of ERP system, and selection of ERP systems. Once the list of solutions is made, it is important to evaluate them on need basis and against a set criteria. During evaluation, it is necessary to understand the ERP provider's planning, support, approach, and capabilities and evaluate them. So now we are going to discuss what are the factors to contribute in evaluation process of ERP systems. The first factor is process review and analysis. Since ERP is first and foremost a business initiative, current business processes are defined and documented on the basis of pain points and strengths. This analysis includes the processes planned for the future and the corresponding business requirements. Then the next factor is assessing business needs. A good evaluation starts with assessing current business needs and processes to determine what is needed out of an ERP solution. The next factor is usability. Usability can be measured empirically or analytically through the use of inspection methods. This approach to measuring usability attempts to identify actual usability issues that are experienced by real users. The next factor is technical fit. Although ERP should be a business rather than a technology initiative, it is also important to understand how to potential software solution will align with current infrastructure. The next factor is total cost of ownership. During the sales cycle, ERP software sales representatives are interested in downplaying the costs and risks associated with purchasing their software. However, it is a lot easier to accept potential costs early in the process rather than after already committed to a particular solution. And it is very important to be sure to uncover hidden costs associated with ERP. The another factor which is contributed in the evaluation process is development of realistic implementation plan. It is very important to develop evaluation based on a comprehensive project plan that includes not just the activities required to install the software, but the ones that are required to ensure that the solution is fully functional, tested, and accepted by end users. The another factor is potential business benefits of a business new systems. Evaluation process includes the checking ERP system as a way to reduce costs, increase revenue or scale for growth, and estimate and measure benefits against these metrics if organization is going to realize the full potential of ERP. The next important factor is options available. It is relevant to choosing an ERP package. Contrary to common belief, there are more than just 2 or 3 primary ERP software vendors. Although 2 or 3 software vendors constitute a majority of market share, there are at least 70 viable ERP software solutions. So business can be choose any other option for the ERP. Then the last factor which will be considered as objective and independent advice. Evaluation includes taking view of colleagues, employees and other contacts what they use or recommend for a company. The actual process of evaluating the ERP systems is never the same for any 2 companies. It will be unique. What the work needs to be done, it depending on the company's scope and nature of a work. After considering the certain factors, then the next one is evaluation process of ERP system. The process of an enterprise resource planning system can be defined as finalizing single integrated and packaged business information system which can meet the aim of seamlessly integrate and manage the different business processes and information flows within an enterprise. It contains the following steps. The first one is formation of cross-functional team. A cross-functional evaluation team that includes the best and the brightest individuals from each functional area of the company are formed and empowered. These individuals understand the inner workings of their respective departments thoroughly. The next step is matching the criteria with ERP systems. The members of the team finalize the criteria based on the reasons and conditions that exist within the company that have led to the decision to select an enterprise system. The next step is evaluating critical areas. The company's resources are identified and assessed. The intention is to evaluate the areas that are most critical to the company's ongoing growth. In addition to those areas that may be unique to the business need to be assessed. The next step is evaluating current information system. Evaluate the ERP systems on the basis of company's current information systems. It is the key will be to target those areas where potential enhancements can most profoundly affect the business in order to facilitate the designed growth. The next step is evaluation of issues. The critical processes and workflow issues within the company are reviewed. Consideration needs to be given to not only how these processes actually work today, but also how they could work as the company grows. The next one is establishing growth parameters. A business model for success needs to be defined along with the metrics that will be used to measure business performance. Establishing these measurements is critical not only to define the organization's growth potential, but also to help identify the path that needs to be followed. The next step is evaluating features through templates. A quick way to initiate evaluation process is to start with a list of industry standard functions and features of an ERP, particularly ones geared toward the type of business. This can be achieved using templates. The next step is setting goals. These elements required to meet the company's goals are to be defined. This step can be accomplished by identifying the requirements for success, which will then be used as the guideline for selecting an ERP solutions provider. It contains the identifying the limitations, discovering the organization's core competencies, recognizing the requirement. The next step is evaluating solutions. When evaluating the right ERP solution for the organization, meeting with the experts across business in such areas as sales, customer services, purchasing, receiving, manufacturing, shipping, accounting, and finance always helps. This step includes asking the experts to list their top 20 department needs for both the software and implementation and support services, and then ask them to consider needs across the entire company. The last step in the evaluation process of ERP system is review. Reviewing the potential software products that are a fit for the organization's environment or not, and eliminating those packages that do not meet the specified needs and requirements, and creating a manageable list of vendors for the final review and check for the references. After evaluation process of ERP systems, the next one is selection of suitable ERP system to the business. Unique needs of the organization and the critical functional requirements necessary in the new enterprise solution have been identified. The next step is to define the processes that will be followed when finally selecting the right software package for the company. Selection is meeting the criteria to finalize the available solution. Criteria can be include features, price, platform, and analyzing else the selection committee can think of. Group the criteria according to importance to business. A score to each is assigned to make the selection easier. So the selection of most suitable ERP system for the organization contains identify ERP business needs, translate these into technical features requirements, and initial software selection, then site visits, then final software selection, and implementation of software in the business. The selection process for ERP system is carried out in following steps. Step 1. Schedule consultants. Phone consultation is arranged with both a sales representatives and product expert from as many different ERP vendors as possible. This discovery call provides better insight on the vendor and its solution than brochures and sales literature. The next step is shortlisting. 3 to 5 ERP solutions are shortlisted that best meet business needs. Discovery calls help to eliminate the solution which is fits in the business organization. The next step is contacting vendors. The shortlisted vendors are contacted for presentations and product demonstrations. The next step is prepare questions. A list of questions to be cleared at the time of demo is prepared, and to address concerns that how each vendor responds will help you determine the best fit for company. The next step is check vendor references. It includes visiting and consulting with companies where the ERP system has been implemented, finding out if the system is working as expected and what the company likes or dislikes. If there were issues, then it is determined how the vendor resolved them. The last step is final selection and implementation. Based on the job fit theory, finally selected ERP vendor spends the time to scope the entire project from start to finish. The team starts working ERP vendor to map critical milestones and chart course to success. Thus, proper knowledge and understanding the importance of team members' involvement during the planning, evaluation, and selection of ERP systems leads to the success of implementing the ERP in the organization. Check your progress. Proper knowledge and understanding the importance of team members' involvement during the planning, evaluation, and selection ERP system leads to the success of implementing the ERP in the organization. An ERP system automates some of the business processes with the help of standardization, which is common for whole organization. Thank you, students. Happy learning.